Comes at Night is a new film from A24 from director and writer Trey Edward Schultz, and I don't really want to talk too much about the plot in fear of spoiling something for you guys. So all I will really say about this movie plot-wise is that there's two families and they are all located out in the middle of the woods. They barely know each other, but they think it's best to stick together for their survival in this unknown post-apocalyptic time period. They need to avoid getting sick or being killed by someone else. I was actually really looking forward to this movie because the poster, when it first came out, looked really intriguing, and the trailers came out and I thought they looked incredible, and I could not wait to see what this film was all about. Before going into the movie, however, I kept my expectations in check because I was told by other YouTubers beforehand that the trailers are kind of misleading about what's actually going on in the film. So knowing that, I went into it thinking, okay, the trailer looked great, but let's, keep this in check because it might not be what I'm expecting it to be. So I guess you could say I went into this movie with lower expectations than normal, and I still walked out disappointed with it. Now, of course, as soon as I say that, a lot of people are going to try to jump up to this movie's defense by trying to just say that I just like stupid horror movies, like the Paranormal Activity movies, or the Bye Bye Man, or Ouija, which could not be any more true, because I've stated multiple times before that I hate Paranormal Activity, all 6 of them. I hate Ouija, I hate the Bye Bye Man, I hated Incarnate, The Gallows, there's a bunch of horror movies, Devil's Due. I hate a lot of horror movies. It honestly takes a lot for me to really like a horror movie. Even last year's The Witch, I was really excited for that, and I walked out a little disappointed in that too. So I guess the best way to sum this up is if you love The Witch, you will probably love this movie, but if you're like me who just thinks it's okay, or maybe you didn't like The Witch at all, then you're not going to like It Comes at Night, like myself. I honestly walked out of the movie thinking, it's not bad, I'd say it's a good movie, but after thinking about it for like 2 days now, I'm thinking, yeah, no, I don't really like this movie. Not to say that there isn't great things about it. For one, the cinematography is honestly quite excellent. You can tell that the director took a lot of time prepping these shots. The cinematography in this movie is just going to be a gold mine for that one Twitter account, One Perfect Shot, who everyone retweets when they see a really cool image from a movie. That Twitter handle is going to have a great time watching this movie and picking out all the great shots, because there are a lot of great cinematography moments in this film, and that's really good props to the director. And also, there are 3 sequences in this film where I thought the tension was really there and I was actually getting involved with it because of the direction and also the performances going on, which, by the way, the performances are all really good. None of the actors here are really annoying. They're all doing a fine job playing the characters. There's only 2 that really stand out in my mind that are really memorable. The guy who played Travis in this movie, he was really great here. His character was definitely the most complex out of all of them, I guess you could say. He's a really messed up kid, but you gotta love Travis. And easily the best one in this entire film, Joel Edgerton. He was outstanding in this movie. I'm a big fan of Joel Edgerton as of lately. I think he's been doing a really great job with his movie roles, and this is fantastic for him. And I was honestly quite surprised to see the dark places his character kind of goes. I was honestly really digging him in this movie. So Joel Edgerton and whoever played Travis, they are definitely the standout ones in this film. Unfortunately, those are the only 2 characters that stand out that much, and even then, the characters don't really feel that complete, if you know what I mean. There's stuff going on with them, but it doesn't really feel like it resolves in a satisfying way. And the other characters, they don't really have that much interesting going on either. And not to say that the actors are bad, it's just the performances weren't spectacular, actually bringing me in like Joel Edgerton's performance was, or the kid who did Travis. A lot of people were really trying to sell this movie on its tension. It's one of the most terrifying films you're ever going to see. That's a line I saw a lot when seeing the trailers for this movie. As far as this movie being one of the most terrifying films you're ever going to see, especially of this year, no, not at all. Honestly, I will be shocked if someone says that this is one of the scariest films they'd ever seen, because there's nothing really that scary to it. At times it gets a little tensiony, but it's nothing horrifying or anything. And I know there's gonna be a lot of people jumping up right now going, but in the trailer they had like this weird old dude puking up black goo. The girl was kissing Travis and puke stuff on him. That's creepy stuff right there. And I guess this might ruin some people's expectations for this movie if anyone was planning on still seeing it. Those are dream sequences. The creepy imagery, old man puking up black stuff, woman puking black stuff on Travis, other things. Yeah, those are dream sequences. There's like 5 dream sequences in this movie, and they use this creepy imagery. Admittedly, this is creepy stuff, and they just put it in dream sequences. And my thing with dream sequences is, I hate them. I would hope that no one ever uses them, because it's such a bait and switch thing to do. All of a sudden, you think you're watching the actual movie, the plot is progressing, but then all of a sudden the character will wake up and they're back to the actual plot. And anything that happened in their subconscious, it's easily forgotten about and we're moving on. I hate whenever movies do that, especially horror movies, where they insert dream sequences just to try to get extra scares in, but then, oh, they're awake, it didn't actually happen. So none of the creepy imagery you see in the trailers is actually happening in the plot, it's all in Travis's subconscious. What really is supposed to build up the tension is the fact that these two families, they just kind of met, and they don't really know that much about each other, and they're just trying to make it work. And I was thinking, okay, that can definitely work if characters are getting along more than others, but then there's some people who are at odds with each other. I never really got that these people were slightly at odds with each other. There's one line where Joel Edgerton says, hey, don't trust these people, but you never really feel it that much in the performance. There's only one great sequence near the end where I was like, this is what the entire movie should have felt like. Even though this is a great sequence, it doesn't really feel that well built up to, because we just spent an entire hour of you guys getting along quite generally. And it honestly felt like a lot of wasted potential was going on here with this story. The screenplay here I thought was extremely lacking. The characters didn't really get that well fleshed out, and there's a lot of introduced story elements that you're thinking, okay, you're gonna bring this back later, or it's gonna be something that you're gonna hint at throughout, right? It's gonna be a big part. No. Like, honestly, when I was walking out of the movie, there was an abrupt ending to this thing that could have worked if they had done it right, but then I started to think, wait, no, that doesn't work, because there's still so much stuff that you introduced that I don't know what the answers are to them. For example, I kind of have to get into some spoiler territory here to kind of explain my overall thoughts on this, so if you still need to see the movie, you might want to click away for a bit, because I need to ask these certain questions that the director intentionally did not want to answer, and I'll be back to that soon. For example, there's a shot where Travis is drawing a picture, and there's like these creatures out in the woods, and I was thinking, are those creatures what they're scared of or anything like that? Is that going to come into play later? Nope, just a random shot to be kind of creepy. There's one scene where the dog is going out into the woods and it's barking. Come back, Stanley, Travis cries. Then he stops. Stanley's gone. The dog has stopped barking. He's like, what happened? We never get the answer to that. But later on, Stanley the dog does come back, and he's been attacked, he's bleeding out, he's in between the red door and the actual door to go outside the small room. And as soon as that happened, I was like, who attacked this dog and then just dropped it off in the house, but then left? No answer to that either. We don't see anything besides the two families. There's nothing coming at night that's a dangerous creature or anything. I guess you could say the dog came at night at that point. But even then, we don't know what attacked this dog, who dropped it off, who would be stupid enough to just drop off the dog but not want to kill the people inside, or steal their supplies for their own survival. I even thought back in the beginning of the movie where Joel Edgerton and the husband of the other family was attacked by two other people, and Joel Edgerton kills them both, but the other husband brings up, like, dude, why did you kill them? We could have asked them questions about what's going on and if they're involved in a bigger gang. And I was like, is that going to come into play later? Is a bigger gang going to come at night and bring a lot of terror and stuff? No mention of that ever again. When I was walking out of the movie, I was like, there's got to be some explanations to this, right? So I went on good old Googled stuff, and I found an interview with the director where he basically said that he intentionally did not answer anything, and basically anything that happens off screen is up here in his noggin, and that he hopes that it doesn't frustrate audiences. And as soon as I read that, I immediately got pissed off. That made me hate the movie even more, knowing that the director already had an idea of how to answer things, but decided, nah, let's just cut it all out. Let's just make audiences lose their mind trying to think of what happened, because I'm artistic. I'm not a big fan of the art house film stuff, but at least in some of those other movies, you can pinpoint something that's happening and connect it to other things, and you can get your own idea of what the film is about based off of those clues. This movie doesn't have any clues to what's actually going on. It's just they're missing. So all you can do is just theorize, but you don't have any legit evidence to back it up, unless you interview the director by yourself, because I don't think he's ever going to go online and talk about everything that went on in the movie. And in that interview, the director is saying that one part where, oh, I intentionally left the answers out. I hope this doesn't frustrate people. Dude, are you freaking kidding me? Are you serious? That has gotta be one of the most egotistical things I've ever read. To think that your film is just so highbrow that modern audiences, oh, I hope I don't frustrate them because I didn't put the answers in there. But you critics out there who are more appreciative, you get it, right? And this isn't just him, this is just a complaint with like a lot of other arty directors who talk about like, oh, a lot of people won't get my movie because it's so deep, so arty. Screw you. Quit being so pretentious. Actually try to create a story instead of sort of making one, but then deleting certain aspects of it because you need to be seen as arty for A24. And I don't even hate A24. I love Ex Machina and Swiss Army Man. I found really surprising. Actually, I love that movie. Both of those movies are very different than a lot of the modern blockbusters and stuff we get nowadays. So I'm not an A24 hater. It's just that some of their movies I love, and then there's movies like Green Room or The Witch or this movie where I think, it's all right. And It Comes at Night isn't a terrible movie. The score is actually fantastic, I will say that. The cinematography is great, and the acting, not bad at all. And there are actually some moments where the tension, I actually felt it, and I was getting involved with those sequences. But the way this film is written, trying to be so mysterious and getting rid of everything that can actually let you solve the mystery of what's going on, how is anyone supposed to get invested with your story if you're just making them confused and not giving them any context clues to pick up on and maybe interpret it in a new way? And as I mentioned, there's only like 3 sequences where I thought the tension was really there. I was not terrified at all. Thanks marketing for making it seem like the most terrifying film ever. The dream sequences annoyed the frick out of me, and a lot of this movie, when it gets to downtime of them just hanging out, gets really boring. However, this movie is going to be really divisive with people. I know that there's people who love this movie, and I know there's people who are on my side who don't really like this movie. Honestly, I don't care if you love it. I don't care if you hate it. This is just me. This is how I felt about the movie, and I think it could have been a lot better story-wise. They could have had so much more going on, but instead the director decided to go a different route that is just extremely frustrating. But he already knew it was frustrating to begin with. He said it in that interview, I hope it doesn't frustrate people. Like, you knew. You know how audience members are. They're gonna be frustrated, dude. And you don't even have to, like, spoon feed them the information about here's everything that's going on with, like, long exposition-y stuff. Just have some sort of clue. I'm gonna give It Comes at Night a C. I know a lot of people are probably not very happy with this grade because they're saying it's one of the best movies of the year, whatever. I'm sorry that I have to be different, but that's just my opinion. I'm sorry if you didn't find my explanation that good, but I think I explained myself well enough. The performances are great. Joel Edgerton and Travis are the best, without a doubt. Cinematography is fantastic and the score is fantastic, but story-wise, it could have been a lot better. This movie is not terrifying, like, in the slightest. There's only a couple moments where the movie actually has some tension going on, but even then it's not terrifying tension. And even going into this movie knowing that the trailers were misleading me, I still walked out disappointed. That's not a very good thing. But guys, what did you think of It Comes at Night? Leave in the comments below what you thought of it. And as always, thank you all for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.